Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pendulum Friday here at Soulprint. Thank you very, very much for being here. Some really interesting questions, some really good questions. So let's get started, shall we? I have recorded a video that you will be seeing on Monday titled Real or Double, or Real or a Double. So that is addressing exactly who was in Alaska to meet 45. An interesting reading. Also, just so you know, heads up, on Monday when you see that video, Atlas will be turning 3. So if everything goes well and we're actually organized around here, we should be including a couple of little pictures or a film clip or something at the end of Monday's video so you can join in his 3rd birthday celebration. All right, guys are amazing. Joyce, thank you very much for doing it this week. And here we go. So there seems to be mixed messages about crossing the Canada-US border. Are there any concerns? I want to just prop my elbow up a bit more. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not organized today. All right. Are there concerns in terms of crossing that US border? Okay, yes. Is it safe to go into United States for sort of the average tourist or visitor, just the average Canadian who wants to go to the United States? Okay, yeah. Is it safe for tourists from other, how do I want to say this, from other European countries to go into the United States? Yes, but not quite so enthusiastic. Is it safe for people from countries like the EAU, China, Iran? It's safe for them? No. Okay. This is my, yeah, actually, several of those were my questions. Is the situation at the border crossings going to continue to deteriorate? Yes. Okay. Personally, if it was me, I'm sorry, but I won't be visiting the United States until things change. I think that you want to be incredibly careful about your electronics and what might be on those electronics and what message they might interpret from what might be on your electronics. Be careful. That's all I can say. So, for those of you who know, I was absolutely wrong, and Justin Polyev won that riding in Crowfoot riding in Alberta, and so he now has his seat in Parliament as leader of the opposition. There is a leadership convention that is going to be coming up in January, this coming January, to see if he retains leadership position. The question, will he win that convention? Yeah. As of right now, it's strong yes. The problem is that he won it by like 80% of the votes. So he has a strong support, I guess. And the other, members would be hard pressed, unless he does something absolutely outrageous between now and then. As of right now, he's looking safe. Okay. I don't even know what to do with this. This is a difficult question that I have read on before, but not recently. It was about Katie Johnson in 2016. There were two civil cases filed in California, New York, under the name of Katie Johnson and Jane Doe. The cases were dismissed. The press conference with her attorney was canceled by the end of the 2016 lawsuits were dropped. The attacks by Trump and Epstein were alleged to have occurred in Manhattan in 1994. Question. I don't know how I can answer this. Honestly, I think it's sort of dangerous territory. Did Trump, I'm not going to use the R word, violate Katie Johnson when she was 13 at one of those parties? Can I get an answer? Sorry, it's actually not safe for me to answer that one way or the other, and read between the lines. If it was safe for me to answer it, it would be one answer, correct? Will Trump's grandchildren follow in his footsteps when they grow up? I don't. Just going to rephrase that a little bit. Will Trump's grandchildren have the same morals, outlook, attitudes, philosophies as their grandfather? Yeah. So what I'm being told is the older ones who are more impacted may very well. Did you see, by the way, I'm just because the next question has to do with bombing Iran. But on the news on Thursday morning, Russia, there was a large hack in Ukraine, and they bombed a manufacturing place, like a building that made home, like domestic, like can openers and stuff like that. Like it had nothing to do with any sort of ammunitions or anything connected to the war. But that company that was bombed has U.S. interests. It was either part or some portion of it was owned by U.S. So that's interesting, considering the summit just happened, that they would go after something with a U.S. print. Was Trump blackmailed into bombing Iran because Netanyahu has compromise on him? For entertainment purposes only, that's a yes. Trump recently floated a comment about no elections due to an ongoing war. Will he be successful in stopping the 2026 to 2028 elections? No. I'm old enough to remember Vietnam. And if elections didn't stop then, I don't quite understand why they would stop now. I think that would be like truly a bridge too far. He is, the damage and the harm that he is causing to the American people, to the farmers, the manufacturers, those red state people who believed everything he said. Let me ask this. Will Trump continue to lose MAGA support throughout the end of this year and into 2026. Yes. Will Texas Governor Greg Abbott be removed as governor within the next few months? No. Sorry. Did we jump timelines again in July? Okay, it's a yes. So I want to ask this. Did the timeline jump have an overall positive impact energetically? Yes. Was it as significant as the timeline jump that happened in the summer, last summer? No. Okay. And once again, for anybody interested in um, the video that I put out on the Soulprint Insights channel, there is a link to that channel at the bottom of the description boxes below. It was sorry, I just gone blank. I just want to honestly find out what I called the video. The Divine Feminine. Okay. So anybody who is interested in that, really, I'm encouraging you to take the time to go check it out. It was really interesting, the messages, and I think for some people, particularly for like older women, who already are wondering if the insanity is ever going to stop, and frankly, why they're still here, and what their purpose is, and where they're at spiritually. There's some really interesting answers on that video, so I do encourage you to go and check it out. Will AOC be our next Speaker of the House? As of right now, that is a no. Will Jasmine Crockett be the next Speaker of the House? Okay, that's a no. Let's ask actually the really important question. Is Hakeem Jeffries going to keep his um his role as leader of the House Representative, the Democrat minor, what is that? Um Not majority. The leader of the Democrats, I'm just gonna say it that way. Is he going to be replaced? Yeah, he's just not strong enough. Will the ultra rich be successful in destroying the middle class? No. Make no mistake, between them and the Republicans are going to give it a really good shot. And if they do succeed, okay, they're not going to. But let's ask this. Ultimately, are the extremely wealthy going to experience um, loss, significant loss of assets or income or resources as we move forward, as the United States moves forward in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, that kind of thing? So, yes. Will it take some major event for the majority of people to turn on the Republicans? That's the question. So the pendulum is sort of saying yes, no, maybe, I don't know. The reason for that is how many more major events need to take place? You have ICE people in, masks grabbing people off the street. You have um, farmers burning their crops because there's no one to get the crops off the field. You have very, very young children um, being separated from their parents and being deported. You have American citizens being sent to far off lands. It's, I think energetically, when you look at what's going on, it is not a matter of one big cataclysmic thing. It is a continuation, an accumulation of the continued harm and insult and destruction and cruelty. And what's going to happen is that you're going to get to a place where, by and large, there's not going to be anybody who isn't impacted somehow. Um, whether it's people who can't afford basic groceries or all of those kids returning to school in September and there are no school lunches and people haven't been paying attention. And because that is just sort of the way people behave. And it's not unique to the United States, right? It's like, come September, parents are going to be going, what do you mean there's no school lunch? Oh, well, that government you voted for, like they canceled them. Um, it's going to be like an accumulation. It really is sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back, as opposed to one big thing, because one big thing doesn't impact everybody in an equal way. I mean, even COVID, for God's sakes, didn't impact people across the board in a level way. Some people got really, really sick. Some people didn't feel anything. Some people died. And so one event doesn't do it. It has to be a series of events, which is exactly what you're experiencing right now, where different groups of people are starting to see and understand the damage that is being done. So no, it's not going to be one thing. It's going to continue to be these groupings and pockets of people from coast to coast to coast who are going, oh my God, like who's running this country? It's someone insane is sitting in that really incredibly tacky Oval Office. Oh my God. Like truly, if I was American, I would be embarrassed. And that it's like he's desecrated your Oval Office. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Will the U.S. ever get the SCOTUS Citizens United ruling overturned? Yes. If yes, in 3032. It's a yes. It's small, but it's a yes. The next one was or 2044, so I'm going to rephrase it this way. By 2044, will Citizens United no longer be on the books? Yes. Okay. Did Melania really author the letter to Putin about the children? Yes. Okay, hold on. There's some dispute going on, literally in the heavens. Um, did she author it? Did she write it herself, word for word? Okay, no. But was it done in her name? Was she aware of it? Okay, and that's a yes. Has Melania read the letter that Mrs. Zelensky sent to her? I didn't know that Mrs. Zelensky sent her a letter. Has she seen that letter? Has she read that letter? So no. Did 45 pass it on to her? Did he give her the letter? And that's a no. I just got to ask this. Was her staff aware of the contents of the letter? Did they see the letter? And is that what, yes. And is that what triggered the letter that was written to Putin? Yes. Was the Secret Service okay with Putin riding in the Beast with 45? That was sort of unusual, wasn't it? The other thing that was really, really interesting was if you saw a broader picture of Putin walking along that red carpet trunk, that red carpet was really narrow. Like one wrong step or lots of balance, he would have been off the red carpet. It was a very, very narrow carpet. And then Trump's was, a standard wide red carpet. It was sort of sent an interesting kind of, I don't know, message. It was a visual, there was something disconcerting almost about the imbalance, which, makes one wonder if that was because perhaps the person on that red carpet may not have been who we perceived it to be. Was the Secret Service okay with him riding in the Beast? Yeah. Um, I think at some point, he has people around him who are, I don't even want to say sympathetic to him, but who are in his corner. And bottom line is, when he wants something, he gets it. Okay, it's just as simple as that. Um, it was reported that Caroline Lovett and Steve Witkoff looked wide-eyed and ashen when they came out of the Alaska meeting. Had someone scolded or shamed them in some way? Yes. Did they hear something that shocked them? And yes. Is 45 going to put troops in Venezuela so he can call that a war and then cancel the midterms because we are at war? Okay, that's two questions. Is Trump going to put troops in Venezuela? It hasn't been determined. It's unknown. There's a non-answer here. Is he going to be successful in trying to cancel the midterms, saying that the country is at war? Is that going to work? No, it is. And that's a really strong no. Does Putin have any hold on Vance, such as when 45 takes his dirt nap? Will JD continue to support Russia over Ukraine? Okay, so is Vance sympathetic and likely to change ideas or attitudes with regards to uh, the war that is being the war that's going on in Ukraine? Almost like a non-answer. What I heard loud and clear was he'll do what he's told. Is JD likely to be persuaded by the EU to return support to return to support to return to US support for Zelensky? Okay, well, let's ask that same question this way then. It's like a really small yes. So again, he'll do what he's told, I guess. Are the Republicans keeping Vance on vacation so he won't get too much of 45's stench on him? Okay, that's a yes. I asked this question because everywhere he goes, he's getting booed. Um, is that doing are these vacations, this ongoing continual vacation? He was in England, he was at Disneyland, he was God only knows where. Um, is it doing anything to improve his PR? No. In fact, I would venture to say it's honestly making it worse. Will Texas be successful with their redistricting, gerrymandering plan for the midterm election? Apparently, it got voted through. It on Wednesday. Uh, they they shoved it through. So I don't know. Like, can that go to like a Supreme Court? If it goes to the Texas Supreme Court, because elections are under the purview of the state, I can't see the Texas Supreme Court saying no, you can't do that. Um, let's just ask the question: will Texas be successful? Is that going to create the additional seats that Trump's looking for? As of right now, yes. Will Californians vote to redraw their maps to pick up more Democratic seats? Yes. And I'm just going to broadly ask this: will other Democratic states consider or do the same thing? Yeah. This is a problem. Okay. Um, it's kind of like the whole expanding the Supreme Court. It's like, where does it stop? Like, right? Um, so, you know, Texas adds, I don't know, five new districts. California adds 10. New York, I guess, because they're Democratic, adds 5. Like, where does it stop, right? Then the next time around for the federal election, you've got Louisiana and Kentucky, and are they, you know what I mean? Like it snowballs and it becomes outrageous. I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm not saying it's not necessary, but at some point there has to be a sort of enough is enough, because it's turning or will potentially turn the elections almost into like a laughing stock. And it's there needs to be a more reasoned and reasonable way to resolve that issue. But I don't know, man. The way things are going, it's not exactly going to be a walk in the park to figure out how to take a country that is so incredibly divided, and try to bring it back together again. And as long as there continues to be so much misinformation out there. And I have to say, honestly, even going through the feed on YouTube, it's like I find that I'm like looking at something and then I'm scrolling down into the description box to see how many of them are saying, this is AI content, or this has been, it's fictitious, or it's. So you need to be really, really careful of what you're absorbing, because I think that is only going to get more and more out of hand until people frankly become sort of savvy to closer monitoring about what they're taking in and accepting sort of basically as valid information or news. Okay. Thank you so, so, so very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. All you guys who've managed to make it through almost the 31 minutes. Thank you. It's Friday. You know what to do, right? Have a great weekend. Do something nice for yourself and someone else. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on Monday. But one way or the other, until then, you take good care and be well. Bye for now.